The deep dark is calling all of us, and I truly believe that everyone who tries out Elite should check out, at the very least, the center of the galaxy to see the possibly best and the prettiest part of the game, the exploration. While being a fanatical combat lover, I always make sure to include a little downtime between exploding guts and massacring to create a dynamic highs and lows for better contrast of my playtime. So for today's emotional low, let's talk about the severe and crippling depression onset that some pilots are ever more familiar with, called traveling and exploring. First, we must start off by making sure that the keybinds are properly placed. Yes, that's right, by default the keybinds on the poor SRV are set in what I only can guess is an incredibly delusional being's perception of how people play driving games. To put it in other words, the SRV controls are mapped by some game engine engineer. I mean, it's just that they are a special breed of programmers that are genuinely genius 10% of the time. The other 90% of the time, it's like watching children trying to open child-proof bottle caps. So make sure to remap the SRV driving the way you like it. Also, since they changed the exploration and introduced the fucking shit scanner, or the FSS, as well as made changes to the detailed surface scanner, it seems that some chimps didn't even bother mapping half of the buttons for those. So, again, make sure that everything's mapped. Next then, I do highly recommend getting the Guardian Fsd Booster unlocked as well. This requires quite a fiddle fuckery with the Guardian leftover trash, but it's all well worth it. In fact, I actually made a video about how to do it exactly, and for the other Guardian stuff, so I'll link the relevant videos in the description, so feel free to check them out. Engineering-wise, of course, upgrading the FSD for increased jump range is a great idea, and will be the best thing you will ever do to your ships no matter what gameplay you go for. Basically, head over to the kite system and make sure to get jiggy with the old cunt known as Farseer. So have fun dusting off the old fossil. Now once you've set up your ship with the most jump range and whatever other toys you want on it, the use of your primary tool for exploration will be the fucking shit scanner. And it's simple. First you quote-unquote honk the system. You can do it either from the FSS screen or by the normal fire buttons, regardless how you do it. After that you enter the FSS mode and you'll see that slider. Now you can adjust it left and right, for which you should have mapped the buttons as I previously stated, and if you do it correctly you'll start seeing bunch of arrows converging or dispersing depending on how close you are to a signal. Think of it as a more intricate radio in year 3300. Apparently this is the cutting edge technology if we let the British take the wheel on the space exploration. In any case, once you've tuned it correctly, a circle will appear and it won't be with dashed lines, meaning that by zooming in on it you will discover it. Additionally, on the top right corner, if you look, you will see a little more scanning happening and it will eventually reveal if the planet has any good points of interest on it and what types it has. I gotta be honest, I fucking love this so much, as before that we actually had to go to forums and basically trust some random guys there that they found a lava spout or something like that to see. Oh, and speaking of cool things to see, once the planets are scanned, you also can map them, revealing exact locations of these interest points. And may I say, gods be fucking praised for this tool. I mean, okay, fine, it should have been in the game from the start, but for some reason developers didn't think that it was important to discover things on procedurally generated planets endlessly, somehow easier, so until the end of Horizons we had to manually find this shit on planet surfaces. So yeah, it was a nightmare. Here, just like with the fucking shit scanner, you open up the tool, and if you're close enough to the planet and not moving, you can start probing it. Here on the screen you can see me probing Uranus's ring. I call that the ring job. It totally leaves me dissatisfied as it has nothing to reveal. Strange that. Anyhow, each planet has a certain amount of probes that must be used before you lose the efficiency bonus, which basically is just an extra credits, in case you want to sell it for money. However, if you don't care for money, then just probe away. And just like with scanning planets and so on and so forth, first to map a planet also gets a little reward and a name credited to you. However, fair warning, in their infinite wisdom, developers still don't want to reveal all the points of interest. Sometimes there are some human points of interest that show up on the scan. However, they don't get a planet location, meaning you need to go back to manually flying over the planet and hoping you can find it. Safe to say that even if elite planets are scaled down by a magnitude, it's still like trying to find a needle in a haystack and with no other way to do it. So thanks devs, what mysteries, such wow. I think I'm gonna go and make out with the business end of a shotgun instead. Still, for scientific exploration, the detailed surface scanner is really the only tool you'll need to buy anymore these days. Well, that and research limpets. Oh, but here's a fun tip. Some explorers tend to carry shields with them in case they need to land on high-gravity planets. And yeah, it's not a bad idea, especially if you're inexperienced. Even if a planet has a 9Gs and whatnot else, with 4 pips to shields, even a Type 9 can land like this, with somewhat decent small shields.
Integrity critical. Shields offline.
I'm still alive! Oh my god, I'm still alive! Okay. Those that don't know, okay, you know what? At this point, how much shield was that? I might bump accidentally and die. So 206 times 2.45, and I can still land like that. However, shields do not protect you from overheating, so don't make that mistake while scooping fuel. Now carrying on with the scanners. Be you a planetary explorer or in space looking at those Lagrange clouds and things within them, they all can be scanned as well. For a very little profit, so don't think you're gonna make any respectable cash out of it or anything at all. Still, this provides scientific info for the codex and other things, so make sure to map the composite scanner for your fire groups as well. And speaking of finding things, in SRV you can see the pulse sonar looking scanner. Again, this thing looks like a 1900s technology in a year 3300, but again, I blame the British for the lack of innovation. And incest ruining the future, but whatever. What secrets does it hold? Well, since these days planet mapping basically reveals all the interesting things on the planet already, the scanner only is good for discovering randomly spawning rocks that you use to break to get stuff for engineering, nor the randomly spawning bases, outposts and whatnot else that are pretty much a waste of time anyways. Still, in case you still want to discover those randomly spawning points of interest, better do it from your ship. At a certain altitude, your ship's scanner changes the display with some of those circle-looking things, indicating that there is something down below. This is where you land and then go into your SRV to scan it more precisely as to where it is. But most times it's pointless, so... But hey, now you know! Now, with the Targoid incursions and reappearance, we have gained yet another Limpet controller. The Research Limpet controller. This thing retrieves a tissue sample of organic matter like the Targoid ships, but it also can be used in Lagrange-dwelling scientific mysteries. So, if you care to join the nerd crowds, this tool may be worth carrying with you as well. Oh, and maybe some corrosion-resistant racks as well, for good measure. Still, if you go out in the black, I would say your best friends will definitely be the AFMU, or the Auto Field Maintenance Unit, as well as the Repair Limpet controllers. With these two things, you can fix everything in your ship. Well, all except for the power plant. That's the only module you cannot repair to this day, and you need to dock in a station to repair. The reason for that is that Repair Limpet needs the power plant to work. But in order to fix something, you need to turn it off, and you can't do it. But for some butt-fucking reason, the British have not figured out, in their amazing wisdom, that batteries exist as well. Weird, because the last time I went to UK and visited my fellow creator Ascorbius, he was driving an electromobile that was powered by batteries. Maybe British think that they run on magic or something. That, or maybe humanity has regressed in the years between now and the year 3300 that Elite takes in. Let's then quickly remind ourselves, if you need more jump range or saved time, try picking up the Neutron Boost, either from the Neutron Stars, which multiplies your jump range by 4, or the White Dwarf Stars, which give you extra 50%. And let's be frank, no explorer is really without one. You will scoop, instead of a fuel, extra jump range. And I know it looks kinda dangerous, but it's rather simple. Just scoop the jet cone off the star going outward and you should be fine. Additionally, you can synthesize extra jump range if you got the materials to spare. This is very useful if you accidentally run out of fuel, or you need to cross a tough region with little to no stars between. And finally, for this shortish guide, if you need cash, I recommend looking up my guide on the road to riches. This basically is a list of systems with profitable celestial objects in them, as you can quickly jump in, scan it, and move on to the next one, netting you pretty good profit. It can and has been done in the starter ships. As a matter of fact, I use it myself for speedruns this way, so it's nothing to scoff at. Overall, these are the aspects, tips and tricks for exploration, and hopefully it helped you out a little bit. Remember that there is a difference between exploration and traveling, and also make sure to never forget a fuel scoop, and all else, well, it's optional. Yes, including pants. And you can explore in any ship you like. Really, there is no one to judge for your horrible, wrong, dim-witted choices out there in the black. None at all. So, if you enjoyed this and if you want in turn to support my work, well, there are useful links down below, like the Patreon, which helps very much. But as for now, this is all, and pants be damned.